About 3,500 people live on the Kingston Peninsula, which is located between the St. John and the Kennebecasis rivers in Kings County, southern New Brunswick. The area is near the Bay of Fundy, just a short drive from the port city of St. John, and the Gondola Point Ferry runs year-round for those who wish to access the peninsula from Quispamsis, a suburb of St. John. Kingston is ideal for growing grapes, and today's subject, Dunham's Run Estate Winery, has made use of the lush, fertile ground along Gorham's Bluff Road to grow grapes for several varieties of wine that's consumed on-site and shipped across the province.
Today we're at Dunham's Run Estate Winery in the Kingston Peninsula, and we're going to get the chance to speak with the owner as well as the winemaker.
We really lucked out because it turns out that we arrived on the day of their great picking party, where people from all over come to help them harvest grapes for winemaking, and they get to sample some of the wine for themselves.
We started back in 1999. My dad had a cottage up near here, so I was familiar with the property, and I bought it like in stages and pieces over, probably starting in 95 maybe, and because back then farmland was not expensive. So we have 20 acres now. The road here is called Dunham's Wharf Road, and the Dunhams used to live here years and years ago, and they were the original farmers. So my daughter, she went to university and got a dog from the dog pound and called him Dunham. And we inherited the dog 6 months later. So we had Dunham for 10 years here, and he had the run of the vineyards. That's what we call it, Dunham's Run. I fell in love with wine when I was 20, I think. That's when I started. Opinion Society, that sort of thing. It actually was a hobby that got out of control. It's still out of control. Macey, she's part of the family. She's been here since she was like 17, 18, and now she's the winemaker. I'm sort of passing my role over to her.
My name is Macey Ruff, and I am winemaker and winery manager. My dad told me that I was going to work in a vineyard, and I came and met Tony, and I worked here for a summer, and that's how it started. The first year I was here, it was only the vineyard. The winery had not even been built yet, so I got to experience taking care of all the grapes, but I didn't get to see the next step. So the next year, the winery was here, and I was like, well, I want to see what happens and be a part of that. I started out as just the assistant to a few winemakers and Tony's assistant, basically, and I had a consultant from Nova Scotia. I went to Brock University for a cider course, and it's basically been just learning on the job.
So we've had a couple of winemakers over the years, and sort of Macey has just sort of, hung in, and now she's running the place. She's the boss.
Every year we have a picking party, we call it, and it used to only be like Tony's close friends, and now we have our Facebook followers, Instagram, so we throw it out there, and just everyone's welcome to come, and that's what happened today. We had people from all over come help harvest.
It's our big pick, so we've kind of made it into a family fun day. People come 9:30, 10 o'clock, we have sort of everything ready, and the kids come in, we supply gloves and whatever we need, and they just go out and they pick for an hour. Some people pick all day. It's great therapy. We picked everything today. Yeah, we picked all week, but today was the big pick, and we had, I think, 60 to 70 people here, families. You saw them, they're all over the place, yeah, and then we feed them, and they get to taste the wine. So a lot of people come from, who were here last year, now taste the wine that they picked from last year, because we've got it bottled now and ready to drink. So when it all comes together, that's what makes great wine, yeah.
Once we harvest the grapes, we'll start the ferments. They'll ferment for 5 to 7 days, and then we press them, and then we spend the winter taking care of them, and then we'll probably bottle in the spring and the summer. We're in a cold climate, so we tend to struggle with getting our bricks, which are the sugars in the grapes, high. So high bricks would make a wine less acidic. So we have a shorter growing season, and our temperatures aren't high. Luckily this year it was hot and dry, and we got high sugars and low acid. So like a negative would be high acid wine. People don't really like that. We always try to do something different and out of the box. Like right now we're sitting in our barrel room that has traditional method sparkling wine, which is basically champagne. And I had spent years riddling it, which is turning every bottle. So we do things like that.
We make fun wine. We make fun wine to drink. You know, we're never going to make a Chateauneuf de Pape because it's a totally different grape, totally different climate. So what we have here is we have our climate, we have our grapes, and we do the best we can with them, and we make some fantastic wines. Whatever we can find local, we'll grab it. We are at Sobeys, and we are at Superstore. Not all of our products. And then, like, we're at the farmers markets. Indie Liquor does not support us like we want it, we need to be supported. They don't support local like they should. And we're having a real struggle trying to get, not just us, but all of us trying to get our product into the liquor store without paying an arm and a leg. And it's been a struggle for all of us. And I think, you know, just in the last year or two, it's starting to, you know, kind of make sense that to support local just kind of means so much to the economy in New Brunswick that it, you know, when you bring wines in from, and it's nice that you bring a wine in from California or from South Africa, whatever, but they're usually factory wines. And it's the same old thing every time, and they make millions of gallons of it, and they chuck half of it because nobody buys it. And when the liquor store can buy it for $1 or $2 a bottle and sell it for 20, then we can't compete with that. So, but our wines and our ciders and everybody's beer, it tastes so much better. It's fresher, you know, and it supports the economy so much more than bringing in stuff. We make cider. Yeah, we've been making cider since day one. We had to do something in between because when you plant and you pick, 5 years is minimum to get anything off that's going to taste any good off a vine. So most of our vines now are between 10 and 20 years old. So it kind of fills in the gaps, and also you only get one crack at the can. Like we pick once a year, whereas with apples and cider, you can buy apples or fresh or juice most of the year because it goes into, you know, hibernation. They put apples inside, and there's such an abundance of apples. So it was a nice sort of product to fill in, and we've kind of experimented with the cider too, different ciders, and we do a winemaker style. A lot of cider guys make cider and English style, whatever. So we do a winemaker style cider. So it's just a little bit different, and that's what you need. You need a little bit of variety. Everybody's got to do something different. But over the last couple of years, we sort of found that comedy and maybe a singer or like a couple of comedians is what people are looking for. It's just a really easy night out. We call it date night because we start early. You know, we have a food truck show up, and people bring their own lawn chairs, and we've been lucky enough to have James here almost every year since he started in New Brunswick. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, like, well, I think I gave him his first job. He says that anyway, but yeah. So it's a really nice little area, and it's becoming easier to get to. People think that it's a long way away when you come from St. John, but it's like 15 minutes, and you come by a boat. Like, how nice is that? You can come with ferry both from Westfield or from Gondola Point. Ferry ride, come to the market, to the winery, to a cidery. We get really good comments, and we get really constructive comments, and it's like our slogan. We make wine for not so serious people, but we're serious about making wine.
We're enjoying the long reach white wine right now that Tony and Macey both talked about. It was awesome to speak with them. They're super knowledgeable, not only about the region, but about winemaking in general.
It was really cool to come during the picking party to see everyone harvesting grapes, having tons of fun, lots of smiles and socializing going on. We're definitely going to come back next year to enjoy the harvest ourselves. Cheers.